with Parsha Bamidbar, and of course the Bamidbar means in the desert, but the fact is it's really a lot of counting going on, especially in the beginning of this week's Parsha. The Jewish people are going to be counted. Later on in the book, they're going to be counted again. And they're also setting up for the travels in the desert. At this point, the Jewish people are still at Mount Sinai. They've been there for almost a year. This beginning of this week's parsha begins on the first day of the month of Iyar in their second year in the desert. So they've been in the desert for a year and 2 weeks approximately when this book starts. Just as a side point, later on in Parshas Beha'aloscha, the Torah is going to go backwards for a brief period to tell you about something that happened the previous month. So Torah is not necessarily written in order. It's one of the ways we see it absolutely clearly, because the Torah gives you the dates and they're clearly out of order. And part of the setup of the Jewish people is that they're going to be, since they're getting ready to travel and encamp, is the system of how they're going to encamp. Also, one more piece of information, of course, is that if this is taking place the first of the month of Iyar, the Mishkan was established and erected 1 month prior. So it's only been up for a month. Before that, there was no Mishkan. So this is new in terms of the people's connection. So the Torah tells us that each of the tribes is going to be camping in a certain spot, which sets it up. 3 tribes on each side. 3 times 4 is 12 tribes, not including the tribe of Levi. We know that the tribe of Yosef is split into 2, to Ephraim and Manasseh, so they're included in the 12 here. And each of the tribes is counted how many of them there are, and they're told where they're going to camp, who they're going to camp with. And also, the Torah then in the third part talks about something called the Galim, which is flags or banners, that each tribe was going to have its own unique banner, different than everyone else, different color, different symbol on it, and each one was going to be really reflective of its unique characteristics. We know that each of the tribes was different in terms of their characteristics. We see that in the blessings that were given by Yaakov, and later, before Moshe, at the end of the Torah, we're going to see that again with Moshe. Each tribe is being described in terms of its unique characteristics, right? Yisachar, Zevulun, each of them, the one is in terms of the ability to do business, others in terms of their ability to, Yisachar is the learner, but different things that they were bringing to the table, so to speak, in their attributes of general personalities, but also the way they're connecting with Hashem. And the question is asked, why did everyone have to have a different flag? Isn't it? It seems to be that by making each of the tribes distinct in such a clear and obvious manner, it might be counterproductive, because it may end up making them be distinct and separate from each other rather than bringing them together. If the goal should be that we want to have a unified nation, well, why would you want to have everybody be so unique? It seems to be a little unusual. And more than that, why did Hashem wait? If that's what Hashem wants, why did he wait a whole year? Why didn't he do that in the beginning when they were first, a few weeks after they came, once they settled at Mount Sinai? They've been there a long time. Why didn't he do that before? Why now? And the Rabbi Sholem Rosner brings down a couple of answers. He quotes Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, who says, you have to look at the timing here. When is this happening? Hashem did not do it right away, because right away the people were not necessarily so unified. What are the things that happened that are unifying the people? So obviously we know there was a big miracle at the splitting of the sea, that somewhat unifying. Standing at Mount Sinai, as we're going into Shavuos, right? We're reading about the giving of the Torah. The Torah over there describes Vayichan Sham Yisrael Neged Ahar. The Jewish people encamped as one. They camped as a unified. At that point in time, they were totally unified at Mount Sinai. So the giving of the Torah was a huge unifier. And now again, the Mishkan was put up. And the Mishkan is the center of everything. Everything's revolving around it. And inside the Mishkan is the Aron, the Ark, right? And all of that. Again, everything's around it. Everything's surrounding it. Everything's focused on the Mishkan and the Aron and God's presence represented there. That was unifying. And therefore, at this point in time, it's okay because the people have become a real tight unit in terms of one people, one goal. And now they're going to display their unique characteristics that will work because not only is it going to be able to withstand the fact that they're going to be different, but actually it's going to bring things to the table. As we see, for example, this Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky saying, the way our body parts, right? We have different parts that all work together because we have one body, we have one, we're our hands and our feet are sharing the same body, they're sharing the same soul, they're working together. We're not your hands, if your hands are going doing one thing and your feet are doing another thing, we're going to have a lot of trouble, right? So all of our body works together. And actually, a better example, maybe, which is different, is that given by Rav Moshe Sternbach, which is an army, right? An army. When you want to do battle, right? We have an air force, you have a navy, you have infantry, you have tank, you have paratroopers, you've got intelligence units, you've got all kinds of many different pieces in an army. And each one of the people in that is either naturally or trained in particular talents that are specific and special and different. And each one of them is a necessity in order to accomplish victory. In order to achieve victory, you need all those different parts. And not only do you need them, each of those parts, you need them to work together. Again, if every one of them is doing its own thing, you're going to end up losing the battle. But when they all are working together, they're trying to achieve a common goal and relying on each other's strengths, then they achieve victory. He said that's the idea of the tribes, that each of the tribes had unique qualities, and we all work together. We all work together for the common goal, which is serving Hashem, following the Torah. What we're bringing our unique qualities to the table. And even nowadays, right, we still have many different groups. We have Ashkenazim and we have Sephardim, right? We have Hasidim. We have all kinds of different groups with a different approach, but at the core, it's all for the common purpose. Everyone's for the same idea. Everyone's for Hashem. Everyone's for the Torah. We're just bringing unique aspects of personalities, and approaches to the table. And when we have that idea, then we're able to accomplish the goal, and we are able to be a unified people within that. And actually, he quotes an interesting idea from the Chafetz Chaim that there's a Gemara in Tainus that talks about that in the future, in the world to come, that all of the righteous, all of the tzaddikim are going to be in a circle, and Hashem will be in the middle, however we understand that. And they'll all be pointing at Hashem and dancing in a circle. They'll be dancing in a circle. He says, why do they have to be dancing? We could be standing in a circle, singing in a circle, whatever. What's the idea of dancing? He says, the idea of dancing is you're moving. And what's happening when you're moving is when you move in the circle, you are now going to take the spot that someone else was just in. Someone else is moving off, and you're filling the spot that they were in. And each person is going to be in a spot that someone else is. And if you go around in a circle, you will be in everybody's spots. You will have, therefore, in a sense, walked in their shoes type of idea. And you will have experienced where they were. And so that's the idea, is that he says, in the time of Mashiach, we will all get to experience the approaches to Torah of everybody else. We'll see how everyone else experienced their approach to Torah, and we will see that it's good, and we will appreciate it. Now, at this point, maybe we have a little difficult time sometimes appreciating someone else's approach to Torah, but not that we should work on that too. But in the future, he says, we will be able to experience it and we'll be able to appreciate it. And that is the concept of the 12 tribes in the desert also, that their unique flags were representative of their unique qualities, but all of their unique qualities were all working together in order to serve Hashem and for the good of the observance of Torah. And we'll hold it there. Have a great